transition of other currencies to Zimbabwe's multiple currency system is work in progress, and so says Mr. John Chikura. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Depositors Protection Corporation. He is in studio this morning to help us to discuss this and its impact on the country's revenue and depositors base. Mr. Chikura, good morning and welcome to Weekend Morning.
Good morning.
All right. Now, what is the current state of the revenue base from the depositors' point of view?
Well, as you would appreciate, at the moment the country is using a basket of multi-currencies, in the main the US and the Rand, and the introduction of additional currencies into that basket is a welcome move.
All right. Well, will it have any impact on the depositors who at one time have been failing to access their monies from different banks?
Well, one hopes that it's going to improve this situation, but we need to bear in mind that one of the major problems that caused that was the liquidity crunch, which is affecting the entire economy, banks, industry, and industrialists.
And talking about that liquidity crunch, how has it affected the operations of the banks?
Well, it's a difficult situation in that the banks have found it difficult in some cases to reimburse or give back depositors their money when they come to withdraw their money. It's a challenge that is affecting, the entire economy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you mentioned that we already have a basket of currencies that are there. How does the introduction of these new currencies fare with the depositors or even the revenue collectors?
One hopes that depositors are going to benefit from this. As you know, we are doing business with a number of these countries whose currencies have been added to the basket. A lot of business is being done with China, a lot of business is being done with Australia, etc. And in some cases, we do have depositors, not depositors, nationals of Zimbabwe who are staying in these countries. The inconveniences of exchange, losses has been removed by the introduction of the multi-currency. So one hopes that remittances, business will be facilitated more by the use of these additional currencies into the basket. Yeah.
Okay, and still on that, how acceptable is it to the people who perhaps you go to a supermarket and you've got your yen there and your yuan and all those other currencies? How is it working out? Are the people accepting that?
Well, if you have that currency and you go to a supermarket, the supermarket is now obliged to accept those currencies. That is the convenience that we're talking about. That in the past, if you went with an Australian dollar or with a yuan, the supermarket would say, we're not accepting this. But at the moment, they will have to accept.
And how can we deal with the issues of the rate system where, prices are pegged at a US dollar and you want to then exchange, you want the foreign exchange there and you're looking at the rates from the depositor's point of view, or the person who's got this money vis-a-vis the one that the service provider is actually offering?
These are some of the challenges of a multi-currency system. One has to ensure that you are given your change, but whether this change, for example, if you pay $1, you're given that change in a rand form, or now you're given in a yuan, that should be okay, because when you use it wherever you go, you will also be able to purchase using the same currency.
All right. Yeah. And now finally, in light of this development, what rights should depositors arm themselves with when it comes to unlocking their revenue that they've worked so hard for?
Fundamentally, when you put your money in the bank, you expect to be able to withdraw it at the time you want it. That remains fundamental. And at the end of the day, given the existence of a deposit insurance fund in the country, if a bank fails and if a bank is closed, depositors expect to get their money, some of that money, from the Deposit Protection Corporation.
All right. Well, Mr. Chikura, thank you for coming to Weekend Morning.
Thank you very much.
Mr. John Chikura is the Chief Executive Officer of the Depositors Protection Corporation. He was also here to discuss more on the introduction of other currencies to Zimbabwe's multi-currency system, which he says is work in progress, but depositors do have the right to get their money as and when they want it from the banks. As we move on with Weekend Morning, mining stakeholders have welcomed plans by the World Bank to set up a $1 billion exploration fund, which they say will address challenges faced by most African governments in carrying out geological surveys.